you strike me down now, I will become more powerful than you'll ever. Monkey Dragon.
Hey YouTubers, it's me, Monkey Dragon here, bringing you a video about some search and destroy classes and about some tactics that you can use and about changing your tactics. It's pretty much all about tactics here with your custom classes. And with that, let's go and begin. Let's go to my custom classes. And if you notice, my first three classes are all pretty much the same in the specialists and the perks. Well, actually, all my first three perks are all the same because that's the playstyle that I use. Recon, because I like to pan out the enemy. Well, ping the enemy is the correct word. And to find where they're at and everything. And because I am not so much of a hunter, but I like to know where the enemies are and I like to help my team, I can use the flashes that I use to throw them into a building or over an area and paint them for my teammates and go, okay, there they are. And that's why I have that. Assassin, obviously, because I don't want to be seen by UAVs or motion sensors. And Cigarette, because I sound whore. And after I explain those three perks, let's go and get into what I'm talking about. The Striker, if you notice, I don't have 5 classes of it with one thing to change, like either with it extended mags or with damage or with this or with that. I have it pretty much all unified to where I have different levels of every single gun that I use that have different tactics, which each one of them. And with the Striker, I use for close quarters combat only. Like on Hard Hat, when you're going to a bomb site, where it's that whole little construction area where everything is close quarters right there, that's where I go to. I don't go left side where that's that long straightaway where B is in that whole long straightaway areas. I avoid the tunnel and all those areas. I stay in the close quarter area. I try to avoid all the long areas because I'll get overtaken by a long range weapon. But if the combat calls for it and I still need close quarters combat, but I need it a little bit farther with some bullets this way to get that extra range out, I use my UMP because there I can also take it to Hard Hat and still get those long range sides with a little bit of the close quarters. Although it's mainly focused on close quarters, I can still get those long range sides. Like on Mission, this gun is perfect for Mission because Mission has, even in the close quarter area, there's still long straightaways that you can get picked off from or for attack. So the UMP is good because it beats a lot of guns in close quarters, but it still is a submachine gun and it can get them at the longer ranges because it doesn't have the limitations of a pellet shotgun. And then my PP90 I use when everyone else is running rapid fire weapons, in the sense that if everyone's running like MP7s or PP90s or P90s or UMPs and everyone's running rapid fire, there's no sense in me trying to run a shotgun because most of the times the shotgun doesn't get the one hit kill. You have to fire in the couple extra shots. So the rapid fire weapon, I can hip fire, drop down, drop shot, all that stuff, and still own the enemy team. It's just a different playstyle, although I don't use it much and I try not to use it because I hate this weapon. I avoid it. And then the MP7 is obviously, as most of you guys know, is the most accurate submachine gun, so I do use it for about medium range when I need to be aggressive playstyle, but I still am going to be aggressive enough to bring the close quarters to them. I'm not going to hang back at long range because long range weapons can still overpower this submachine gun, so I use it for speed, accuracy, and aggressiveness. That's what I use it for. And one thing I just wanted to point out, guys, if you've never noticed, is actually the UMP is the most accurate gun in the game. UMP. If you notice the stats, its accuracy is about almost twice that of the MP7, but everyone knows the MP7 is more accurate. Just like the PV90 or the P90, I'm sorry, is more accurate than the MP7, but it's not. That's just one thing I found funny. So don't always believe the stats in the game that you see, because that right there is kind of proof enough that they don't really pay attention to that. You have to use the gun to understand the playstyle of the gun and what it's good for and how it can be used. And with that, let's push on to the ACR. The ACR I use for about pushing medium range. I don't really like to use it for medium range because on the medium range I'll like to use the MP7. So pushing medium range with a little bit of far, because at far ranges snipers will overtake you, so that's why I don't use the ACR at far ranges, and I don't use it as a universal gun. So whenever there is call for that medium to slightly farther range, I use the ACR because it is an accurate fully automatic assault rifle. And then the FAD is my second version of a medium weapon because, like the MP7, it has that rapid fireness or the fast fire rate of a submachine gun with the accuracy of an assault rifle. So I consider that kind of like the best of both worlds between the assault rifle and the SMG. So I use that for whenever the situation calls for that, when it calls for the close quarters and it calls for the long ranges. So the FAD is my go-to gun for those situations. And then my M16 I use for long straightaways, because you can't really use it for a close quarters battle. If you do, and you're probably going to lose a lot, honestly, because the submachine guns and shotguns that people are going to use at the close range battles, you're not going to win against the M16. You're going to have to use it at long straightaways, and then you're going to have to use it for when an enemy comes at you, because the M16 is a 3-round burst gun, and you can most likely beat them in 1 burst or 2. And because it's 3 burst, if you try to churn and shoot, maybe only 1 bullet's going to connect, and because it's a burst, and then you got to pause and then fire off another burst, you'll more than likely lose if you're churning. So you want to get them to the point where they're coming at you, or you have them at a longer range, because you can get that whole 3 bursts and connect all 3 bullets. You want to get them in kind of a tunnel or a funnel shape, to where they all funnel to you, and you can pretty much put your sight on this one spot, and when they come to get you, you can take them out. And I'm not talking about camping or anything like that. I'm saying about the playstyles of it. So you pretty much don't want to run around with this thing, although you can, and I'm not getting into that right now. I'm pretty much saying you want to get them into a funnel kind of area. And with that, let's move on to the M16, or actually the MK14. I'm sorry. The MK14, I'm bad with the names. Anyway, you want to use it for, once again, like the M16, but at a lot farther range, because it has that high damage and high accuracy. Although it has the kick up, you can use kick or any other perk, or just burst it pretty much, and you can get it at the really far range, and you use it as a sniper rifle. But once again, because it is semi-automatic, you can't really use it as close quarters. You can if you want to, but you're probably going to die a lot against the guns that are actually made for close quarters. So, oh, I flew back out there. My bad. Oh, all over the place. Anyways, and with my RSASS, I use this obviously for long ranges, and I try to avoid the close quarter combat, but if I need to, that's why I have my pistol with the silencer, because I still like to remain hidden. And the reason why I choose the RSASS is because I like to remain hidden, and the other sniper rifles you can't really use with a silencer, because although most sniper rifles you do get that one hit kill, well, not mostly, you get mostly the hit markers, and then you get the one hit kill sometimes. I'd rather use a gun where I know I automatically get 2 hit kills. This way I can predict and count on the 2 hit kill. And this way I don't have to be, am I going to get the 1 hit kill? Am I not? You know what I mean? I already know I'm going to get the 2 hit kill. And with the RSASS, you might as well throw in the silencer, because no matter what, you're going to get a 2 hit kill. You're not going to get a 3 hit kill unless they're behind cover or they're wearing ballistic vests or some other reason like that. So that's why I choose the RSASS, because I can still get them at that far ranges. I consider it a buffed version of the MK14. That's the way I consider the RSASS. And then my right shield is just for kicks and giggles when me and my friends just want to kind of mess around. But anyways, guys, so what I'm pretty much trying to tell you here, and why I showed you all my different classes and told you about the playstyles that I will use with them, is because let's say I'm playing on Fallen, and I'm running around with my ACR, and that's my go-to gun for there. Well, not really, but I'm just giving you an example. And everyone is rushing super hardcore with rapid-fire SMGs like the MP7 here, and my ACR, I just can't take these guys. So what I'm going to have to do is change my playstyle to beat theirs. And since the MP7 is probably the best second choice for that map, I would probably throw on my MP7 and then change my tactics from going long range to slightly closer range and waiting and wait for them because they're so aggressive. And let's say in Hard Hat, I'm using my standard striker class. I'm going for the close quarters, but all these guys are camping in the spawn, and they're all waiting in the long range areas of the map. And you guys know where most of them are. We're in the back corner of the map where those couple of barriers are, and you can hide and you get the long straightaways. My striker can't take those guys from there. So when I obviously die because I couldn't take those guys, I would probably switch out to maybe my RSASS, or more likely my MK14 or my M16, because I can get them accurately at those long ranges, because they're probably going to be, because they're probably going to be head glitching. So you want to change your playstyle in game with the knowledge of the map, with the knowledge of their playstyle, because you can't use one class over and over and over again, and you can't use one gun over and over again. Like if you notice, none of my guns, they don't repeat. I don't have the striker 5 times with maybe extended mags and damage on, and then change the perks around to this and this, because you don't want to change the gun to the playstyle. You want to change the playstyle to the gun. You get what I'm saying? That's why I have these, and I told you the playstyle of each of them, and I gave you a little bit of scenarios of which they're good. So if close quarters isn't working, long range, but you still have this close quarter map's essence, you probably want to use the FAD. You always want to keep in mind the playstyle of the map, the area of the map, whether they have long ranges, close quarters, and everything else. You have to keep that in mind of the map, the playstyle that is available there, and then you have to change your mind in the sense of their playstyle, because if they're avoiding the long range areas and they're going strictly for close quarters areas and they're rushing, then you obviously don't want to use the FAD. You probably want to use a submachine gun like the MP5, or my bad, the UMP 45 and the striker. You always want to keep in mind the map first and then their playstyle, because if they're going, because if you go, okay, their playstyle is close quarters, fast pace, I could probably get them at the long ranges, and I'll just stick to these parts of the map. Well, that's the bad idea, because if their playstyle is close quarters, and if they get you in those close quarters combat areas, and they're avoiding the long range maps, then your gun versus them is not going to win, because they're sticking to the close quarters. So that's why you always want to think map first, and then their playstyle. But if you can win with a universal gun every single time, because you know this gun inside and out, you can control where it fires, you can throw your gun cross map and it spins around and shoots everyone in a headshot, then go ahead and use your gun. But if you can't do that, keep in mind, guys, change your playstyle for the map, have a different gun for every single playstyle that is possible, and make sure that it's available, and think about the maps when you see it, and then think about the playstyles that the enemies could be using against you. And with that, guys, that kind of ends this video. So like the video if you liked it, or if you found it helpful, and don't forget to tell your friends about me, because who wouldn't want to win 20 bucks? And I'm Monkey Dragon. That's all I got. Peace, guys.